Welcome, everyone, to Real Talk with My Homies, the fastest growing podcast in the Louisville area, according to my podcast producer, Jeff. I'm your host, Jake Wardrop, and today I'm joined by Scott Hack. Scott is a father, husband, broker owner, entrepreneur, pizza snob. We'll talk about that later. Domain name addict. I'm curious about that. And tech enthusiast. He has been a realtor for over 15 years. According to the MLS, obviously this does not include off-market deals. He has sold 125 homes for a total of $27 million. Welcome, Scott. How are we today?
We're very good. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. All right, I got to know pizza snob right off the bat.
Yeah, so prior to entering the real estate industry, I actually owned a pizza restaurant for 5.5 years.
All right.
So that gave me an appreciation for everything about pizza. So anytime my wife and family and I travel, we're checking out independent pizzerias around town, trying to check out something new. So definitely have developed an appreciation. And as you can tell, I don't skip very many pizza shops.
What's the best local pizza shop?
So I'm very equal opportunity about my pizza.
All right.
But I'll say that if I get to pick the place, I'm probably picking in Pelizeri's.
Okay.
I do gravitate towards that style, the more casserole, thicker style. But we probably end up at Old School more often because
That's a good place.
Family.
Yeah.
That's what hits the buttons for everybody.
Yeah. I'm huge on beer nose. Love a good beer nose. And then there's a Derby City Pizza right down the street from my house. So I try to eat there as much as possible. But yes, we eat pizza probably more than we should in my house as well.
Wick's, beer nose. I mean, we've got a great culture of pizza here. The Post obviously turns us down this direction. So there's just a ton of great options. Even honestly, there's a offshoot that came out of Hometown, the Brewing one.
Yeah.
But their pizza is really great too.
Was it Artisan Craft? I think is.
I don't remember the name of it. There's one on the corner of Hurstbourne and West Fort Road.
Yeah, there's one in Fern Creek, just right across from Fern Creek High School.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, domain name addict.
Yeah,
what's going on there? You just buy up every domain you can think of.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a problem. I own almost 300 of them right now. Been on a domain diet and trying to let some go. But literally nearly every month, there's something else that pops up that I'm like, oh, I need that. And thankfully, they're not as expensive as some other collectibles, but they do add up because you're paying for them annually with a renewal.
Have you ever gotten any that you're like, oh, this is a good one, and somebody like buys it from you because they wanted it?
Yeah,
is that kind of like the I don't air quotes business model is to something that may be of value in the future?
I definitely own some that are speculative, and I do quote unquote domaining, which is what the process of flipping the domain. I probably sell 3 or 4 a year. I do concentrate on the real estate sector because that's what I know and understand.
Yeah.
My business was built on online lead generation. So I have some familiarity with the keywords and the type of things that people would be interested in.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. Icebreaker questions. What is the most watched TV show or movie that you and your wife watch?
It's definitely Top Gun.
Okay.
Not as much recently with kids, but in my 20s, 30s, a lot of bar hopping, a lot of coming home. Top Gun was pretty much on repeat at the house. I had 3 or 4 roommates pretty much the entire time in my 20s. So the Top Gun was pretty much on repeat at the house.
Can you recite the movie?
I can't recite it, but there's definitely parts that you can quote. So it's definitely on most of the time.
There was a time back in probably my early 20s that I could almost quote the entire Happy Gilmore movie.
Oh,
we watched it so many times that I never put it myself to the test, but I'm really confident. So back in my prime, I could have recited the movie.
Absolutely.
All right, if you could work 100% remote, obviously in our industry it's a little tough. But if you could work 100% remote and still be as successful as you are today, where would you?
Good question. That's a tough one because I actually have a decent amount of family still here in town. So I probably would still stay here. If I didn't have the family ties, we would escape to somewhere warmer with a beach and the ocean. But I wouldn't pick that over leaving my family here.
Gulf of Mexico?
Oh, my in-laws have a place at Daytona Beach, so we spent a lot of time on that side. And then my wife and I did our honeymoon in Aruba. So somewhere like that would be a choice if there wasn't family ties.
All right, last one. They made a movie about your life. Who would play you?
Tom Cruise, obviously.
And who would play your wife?
Let's see. That's a good question. I don't know. I have to think about that. That's a hard one. Think about brunettes. I don't know. I'm gonna just take a pass on that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that later.
Take a pass.
All right. Cardinal Moving, a local moving company since 2014 with over 3,000 Google reviews. They specialize in making your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. Their team of clean-cut and professional movers is dedicated to handling your belongings with the utmost care and efficiency. Visit their website, cardinalmoving.com, or give them a call at 502-599-2661 to get a free quote. I've personally used them. I have also sent clients to them. I highly, highly recommend them. I say it every time, but I would highly recommend them for anybody who's moving. I'm sure Scott would as well, right?
Absolutely.
They are fantastic. There's a lot of good moving companies, but Cardinal is the best in my opinion. Real Estate Distilled. 2018 was the first year, correct?
Yep.
What was the decision process like leading up to that? What made us want to do something like that?
Completely being naive about how much work it was going to be. And at the same time, wanting to have an event that I could bring my agents to. In 2018, the only conference that I really knew that was consistent, that was big, that was doing content that I thought was moving the needle was Inman. Inman's in New York. Hotels are fairly expensive. The ticket to Inman's fairly expensive.
Yes.
And then I have a overwhelming, exploding amount of pride for our city. So I felt that Louisville as a host city was something that a lot of people were missing. So there's a lot of conferences take place in tier 1 cities, Houston, Denver, Orlando, and Louisville as a tourist city. I mean, we've got hotel rooms that are closer to $150 a night instead of even Nashville. It's like $300, $350 a night.
Yeah, the Nashville boom is ridiculous on hotels now.
Obviously, we named the conference Real Estate Distilled, so we snuck in very squarely on bourbon tourism. So we play up all of that, and we invite people to be thirsty for knowledge, come into town, learn something for a couple of days, visit some distilleries while they're here, and check things out.
So how's it evolved over the years? Did it start? I mean, obviously it didn't start as big as it is today. This year, for anyone listening, this year it's the 5th and the 6th of March, correct? How's it evolved over the years?
I think that in a lot of ways, nothing's changed. And in also a lot of ways, things have just gotten a lot smoother. So every year, obviously we're trying to take the experience and elevate it, and we're trying to add some sandpaper to the experience. So whether that's with communication to the people who are attending, whether or not that's, our communication beforehand, after, we're building a community with the conference. The conference, people come together, but really what's important about the conference is all of those connections that are taking place throughout the year. And then it accumulates at the conference and people coming here. So making all those connections, those introductions, always say that the people you hear speaking on the stage are really important, but the person sitting next to you that you can call on a random Thursday and ask a question might have a bigger impact on your career. So we're always working on that. And the content, of course, changes every year because we are bringing in speakers. We're trying to pick topics that are relevant and timely. Obviously, technology influences real estate heavily, so there's always something new in tech, and we try to focus on topics that are not necessarily compliance or legal, and we let the state handle those. So we're trying to really move the needle in marketing, advertising, lead conversion, some of those things that are a little bit more exciting.
How many speakers do you have this year?
I think it's around 20.
20?
Yeah.
And I guess it starts at the crack of dawn.
Not quite, because I'm not a morning person, although I do have 2 daughters, so I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to start getting them ready for school. But we'll have our first session about starting around 9:15.
Okay.
And we're hosting at the University of Louisville Shelby campus for those familiar with the area.
Yep.
Corner of Hurstbourne and Shelbyville Road, basically.
Yeah, you get the luxuries of a college campus without the problems of college parking.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, where would you like to see it go? Or do we have plans to expand? Do we have plans to make it bigger, better? What's the long-term goals?
Long term, I'm not 100% sure. We obviously wanted to get to a little bit larger. We definitely don't want to be 1,000-person conference, even a 500-person conference. My goal is always to have enough people in the room that it's comfortable, but not so many people in the room that you can't individually say hi to everybody. You get to a certain point and you basically just become a body and a face. And it doesn't matter if there's 400 people in that room or if there's 350. Once you get over about 200, you can't shake hands with over 200 people in the room. So we don't want to lose that flavor. And I could see us potentially doing like a roadshow, doing some one-day events that are in other cities to help maintain that connective tissue, but still make the attendees, the community ultimately bigger by bringing multiple events.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of people that went last year that it was awesome. It was great. I'll be honest, I maybe had my head in the sand or something, but I didn't even know what was going on until after it was going on, which is probably my fault. I was also, last year was one of my first full-time years in real estate. But this year I made sure that I got a ticket, so I will be there, which I'm looking forward to. With that being said, what speakers should I make sure I don't miss?
Actually starting last year, so this kind of goes back to the changes, we introduced a multi-track situation. So it used to be one stage, one speaker, one room, everybody talking. Last year, we introduced multiple speakers, so we kind of have breakout sessions going on. So you have the opportunity to pick. So with something that's more applicable to your business, you'll have an opportunity to go there. It's great that you've got some other team people coming, so you all can divide and conquer, share notes. But I think it depends on what's important to your business.
Yeah.
The ones that I'm personally most excited about, one of them is Alex. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, even though it's fairly straightforward. He's coming over from Poland, actually.
Okay. So what does he talk about?
Email deliverability and security.
Okay.
So email is one of the primary ways that we are doing communication. And if you're sending an email and it's not landing in someone's inbox, then you might as well just light the message on fire. So having your emails land in someone's inbox and protecting your domain authority and your domain reputation. So when you do send an email, it doesn't end up in someone's spam box. And also that someone can't use your domain for nefarious reasons. So, I mean, we're in an industry where people are taking communication and they're wiring thousands of dollars. And there's man in the middle, things are happening where people are intercepting those and then sending different wiring instructions. So protecting so someone can't send an email on your domain that makes it look like it's coming from you is super important.
Yeah. If you had to pick a theme, I know I'm maybe asking you to do something here. If you had to pick a theme for this year's event, what would it be?
I was looking at it. It kind of comes down to communication. We've got some stuff that we're looking at within the direct mail piece. We've got some video content. So we have a speaker coming from Savannah, Georgia, Karen Carr, who you might recognize nationally. She does a lot of stuff about YouTube for agents. So and then of course we have the email deliverability. So there's a big underlying thread of communication.
Gotcha. So anything else we should know about that before we move on to a more entrepreneurial endeavor? Anything else about Distilled you want to talk about or go into detail while you got this?
No, I mean, I think people should definitely go to the website, realestatedistilled.com, and check out the speakers and the topics. Like you said, I think exposure and just people knowing about it is half the battle for us. We are not a conference that is based around a software company or one particular company. So we have everyone from independents to franchises that are attending. We have attendees from 24 different states currently registered. So even though we are a more boutique size, we have a really great distribution.
Where's the farthest state? Now I'm curious because you got 24 of them.
Some come from Arizona right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I go talk to them.
Yeah.
All right. Coffee.
Yeah.
I got a bag before the show and cannot wait to. Is it the beans?
It is.
I get to grind the beans down there. All right. So I'm looking forward to that. We got a coffee grinder at home, the whole 9 yards. You own a coffee company.
Yeah.
Coffee brand. I'm incredibly interested about that. I was probably still am a serial entrepreneur to some degree, as I've got a new endeavor that I'm getting ready to get off the ground very soon that unfortunately I can't talk about just yet. But by the time this episode's out, we'll all know what it is. So tell me a little bit more behind the coffee and all that.
Yeah. So have you ever executed a Pi Day event for your company, your business?
No, I have no. I've seen those all over the place, but I don't want to mess with those logistics
and that's exactly why we did a coffee company. So my wife owns a publication You had Kelsey Radcliffe on here, real producer. So that parent company it's called Into.
Mm-hmm.
There is other publications here in town that are called Strolls.
Yep.
They're in 8 different neighborhoods currently, and they're kind of expanding. So my wife owns one of those publications.
Which neighborhood?
Persimmon Ridge.
Okay.
So
I have clients that are actually looking to try and buy a house in Persimmon Ridge, but anything that pops up, they don't like.
Okay.
So
yeah, so
small world.
Basically, we wanted something that we could do as a giveaway. Coffee is shelf stable. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. Kentucky treats it as a food item, so it doesn't need sales tax. So there's a lot of logistics reasons. You can throw a bunch of them in a box. So we wanted to do something that was personal to us that we could do as a giveaway. We wanted it to be exclusive to us. I didn't like the idea of going to Costco and buying an $8 pie and then giving someone that same $8 pie that they could have picked up on Sunday while they were there.
Yeah.
So we wanted something that was exclusive to us. So between the real estate business that I have, my wife's magazine that she has, and the conference, we wanted something that was a gift that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
So we give it out as speaker gifts. When people send me referrals, I mail coffee to them. It's just something easy. And then some of the things that we really didn't even know were going to be interesting for us, started doing a farmer's market in our city. So I live in Pewee Valley, and they do a farmer's market every other Thursday night during the season. And we got our kids involved. So my kids are out there asking people if they want to do samples. They're 8 and 11 right now. So they're counting money, they're doing customer service. And then I've met a ton of my neighbors that I wouldn't have had an opportunity to meet. So I kind of tease that we're using coffee to create conversations, and that works. That's really what it is.
Yeah. So how old is the company?
3 years, right?
3 years. Do you guys keep tabs on, do you run it like I don't want to say it's in a patronizing way. Do you run it like a legitimate business, or is it more like, do you have numbers? Do you know how much volume you've sold, or is it more of a giveaway type of thing and we'll write off expenses elsewhere?
It's more of a giveaway. We have started doing some tracking, but not that first year we didn't. I could probably go back and look at our invoices because we work with a local roaster. We're not we're not a full coffee roaster. So we work with a local roaster that does a custom blend for us, does a roast for us. So we own the brand, but we're not into the weeds of making the coffee ourselves. And I have had some people ask me like, hey, did you grow this? And coffee doesn't grow in Kentucky. So it's mostly tropical areas. So, Central America, South America. I think Hawaii is the only state in the United States where coffee grows.
Gotcha. If somebody wanted to buy it online, is that an option?
Yeah, they can go to startinggatecoffee.com and check it out.
Probably should have started there. It's named Starting Gate.
Yeah, Starting Gate. Yeah. So they can go on to startinggatecoffee.com and shoot a note. We don't have a cart set up because if they're local, I'll just drop it off when I'm showing property in that area.
Yeah.
But if they're out of state, we can ship it to them.
So you said the beans are not from Kentucky for obvious reasons because they don't grow here. Where are your beans from?
So it's a 5-bean blend that we do. So our coffee is named Starting Gate Coffee because of the horse racing industry that's so prevalent here.
Yes.
It's also a tie into my personal business's brand. So we wanted to have a standalone brand, but we wanted them to be related. So the blend that we use is called a super high five.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're into betting on the ponies at the track, a super high five is a bet you can place at the track.
Yes.
It's the first 5
So
horses.
it's the one you can pay off your mortgage.
Yeah. So in the 2021 Kentucky Derby, if you had placed that bet, it would have been almost an $800,000 ticket.
Yeah, that's a mortgage winner.
Yeah, 100%. So we have a 5-bean blend that is called a super high five for that one. And we have a whole future plan to do other bets for blends. So we've got a trifecta planned out. Our decaf is going to be called Scratch. Obviously a win, place, and a show for single origin.
Yeah.
One of the funny things is I do not drink coffee. My wife is the coffee drinker of the house.
So what do? You just high on life, or what do we use to get excited?
I'm a soda person, so Coke Zero a lot of times, but the coffee has definitely been something that we didn't expect. Some of the things we had an idea specifically about replacing Pi Days with it, but it's been nice and it's been a lot of fun too.
Yeah. My wife is a huge coffee. I'm a big coffee person too, but I like hot coffee. I don't like I'll drink cold coffee. It's the only option I have. But my wife's on even if it's like 12 degrees outside. Even my wife is on this cold coffee kick right now. So she'll boil a pot on Monday or Sunday night, and then throw it in the fridge overnight, and then just drink iced coffee all week. So unfortunately, right now I'm stuck with it because I'm too lazy. I'm not putting on a pot of coffee every morning, so I just grab a Monster out of the fridge. But yes, I will definitely be using the beans that I got from you, and make sure we do a little shout out when we try it. So, what else we got from a manufacturing side? You said you've got a local guy that does that. Does he, what all does he do for you besides that? Does he sample them for you? Does he say like, hey, this is a good blend, or these are things that you don't want to mess with, or these won't go good together?
Yeah, we did a cupping, and there were some different things they laid out for us to pick. And then, my wife went in with some of her family and friends. They tasted coffee and they picked which one we were going to work with. So they definitely gave us some guidance. We originally wanted to do a Kona blend, which is in Hawaii. But it's kind of one of those things where, like, if you're a really kind of a coffee snob, then you know that it's not maybe necessarily worth the value, because it has a lot of branding power, but it might not necessarily be as good as some other places. But they've just done a really good job with marketing. So we shied away from that after we learned a little bit more about the process, what the cost would be to get it from Hawaii to here, some of those type of pieces. And then really, when you have enough of it, one of the things with coffee is that there's a lot of blend. So we've got our particular one, we've got Italy, Colombia obviously is where a ton of coffee comes from. So we've got, some different origins where our coffee is specifically from. I actually don't know them off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But when you went to have a significant percentage, and that would make the coffee $25 a bag or something like that, which wouldn't be sustainable.
That's a tough buy.
Yeah.
All right, you told me on the phone, we were talking, it was a Wednesday or something, that you do like webinars for people helping kind of build their brand. Tell me a little bit more about that. What do you do?
Yeah, so we actually, I just did 3 of them this week.
Okay.
For people that wanted to launch basically a coffee company for themselves. Because I feel like that we're in an industry where there's a lot of sharing.
Mm-hmm.
You and I technically are competitors, but we're definitely collaborating about different things that we're doing.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of things where people can learn from each other. And so the coffee company has been successful for me. So I'm helping other agents that might want to duplicate that model in their market and sharing with them what that road plan looks like, what they need to concentrate on, helping them connect with the process to hopefully shorten that runway so they can take off and do it.
I think too, some of it is, like, I try not to gatekeep as much as possible, which is obviously what you're doing here. You're not gatekeeping on this great idea, but you can tell everyone, and 90% of the people won't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, you're not, you can say whatever you want, but they're not gonna move forward with it. Like I do a lot with NIL, name, image, likeness, and college athletics and marketing. I'm very outspoken about the success that I've had with it. And I know of one other realtor that has even considered or really looked into doing name, image, likeness marketing for their business. And I'm assuming he had success with it as well. But, I can scream it from the rooftops, but if it doesn't match people's desires or interests, they're just not going to do it. And, they've got their own lane. They're going to stay in their lane. And so I always find that interesting, kind of how you said it.
Well, and there's all those cliche statements, but they're true too. People have a vision of what something needs to be or what something should be. Mm-hmm. And unless they feel like they can execute at that level, they get paralysis and they don't do it. Mm-hmm. So, basically perfection is the enemy of done. And really you just need to do something and then iterate on it and get better. But a lot of times people get so worried about making it perfect. Video, podcasting, all of that. People just don't do something. They get scared by it.
I am the exact opposite of that, which is perfect. I will try anything. I will do anything, and I'm not afraid to fail. Thankfully, I've had more wins than losses in that world, but if I think I can do it, I'm going to try it, and this podcast is a perfect example of it. Most podcasts don't make it past the first year. Not only do we make it past the first year, but we've got a nice little audience. We've got a studio that's being built. Sponsorships. Yeah. And it is, am I going to be a full-time podcaster? No, that's not the goal. That's not the dream. I don't really think I want to do that. but it's a great way to connect with people I know, pick the brains of people that I think have really done a great job in this industry for 30 minutes and kind of peel something off. The coffee brand is something that, I'm not saying I'll do coffee, but just having kind of like an ancillary business that kind of ties into my existing one is a really smart idea.
Find something that is authentic to you. When I was doing those webinars, I had a lady that I know is in Texas, and she's like, I don't drink coffee, don't care about coffee. But for her, she's looking at finding what people need to look for is private label, or sometimes they call them white label. Most of the time it's a private label. There are manufacturers that do nothing but generate manufactured product, and they don't sell it themselves. It's all wholesale with someone else's label on it. So she wants to find a hot sauce company and have a hot sauce for her brokerage. I mean, it's not what I would do, but I mean, it probably works for her. And
Texas, if you're more in the South. Yeah, I mean, Texas specifically, but hot sauce is a staple.
Yes, 100%.
So, all right, Jeff, hit the new sponsor alert. We've got a new one. I'm excited to announce our new sponsor, Senior Family Solutions, and their easy equity loan program for sellers with you today. Helping clients sell their house for the best price is my number one goal, and I've recently partnered with Senior Family Solutions to offer a game-changing program that makes a huge difference for my sellers, the easy equity loan. Here's the deal. I strongly recommend their services to my seller clients who needed to renovate their home before listing to make the best possible first impression. With the easy equity loan, sellers can tap into their home's equity with no upfront costs, and Senior Family Solutions can take care of everything. I'm talking estimates, contractor coordination, paying invoices, every single detail. And the best part is my clients didn't have to write a single check. Payments were made at the closing table from their proceeds. It does not get more convenient than that. Now we need to talk to George, by the way, about how long these ads are. Now, while Senior Family Solutions is known for helping seniors transitioning to new communities, this program works for any seller, whether you're downsizing, upgrading, or simply wanting to maximize your home value before selling. This loan can help you make the necessary improvements to sell your home for top dollar. If your seller is wondering how to take your home's value to the next level, reach out to me or visit Family Senior Homes, seniorfamilysolutions.com for more information. Let's make sure your next move is your best move. All right, I'm here to help you take full advantage of this amazing opportunity, so don't wait. Contact me today. Let's get started on transforming your home into a buyer's dream. With that being said, we have the Senior Family Solutions and their easy equity loan program question of the podcast. One song or book or movie, but we're not doing movie because you already talked about your movie. So we're doing one song or book that describes you.
Ooh, one song or one book that describes me. All right, let's see. One song or one book. Man, that's a tough one.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
That's the point of it.
Yeah. Think through here. I don't know. I'm gonna just kind of probably pull something from left field. So
Go for it.
Gary Vaynerchuk's jab jab left hook. I feel like that is, as an entrepreneur, as someone who has real estate business, coffee brand, broker, the conference, I have to do a lot of jabbing to be interesting for people, because I'm doing a lot of different things, wearing a lot of hats. So I think that we'll go with jab jab left hook.
Gary V book.
Gary V, and also a little shout out to some boxing history for Louisville.
There you go, another one. All right, last thing is we need a question for the next guest. That's part of the deal. You got to put the question for the next guy.
So my question for the next person is, you walk into the donut shop to buy a dozen donuts.
Yep.
What do you have put in the box?
Ooh. Perfect. All right, other than that, anything else you want to plug?
No, I mean, just we're excited to, like I said, show off Louisville and have people here for Real Estate Distilled. So
awesome. This should go out probably a week to 2 weeks before the conference, so get plenty of airtime for that. So Scott, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Thank you.